Hey, everybody, I'm Mike Whalen, the Chief Community Officer at Linesider. I wanted to talk to you about an exciting thing that we have developed, an AI field guide. I'm here with my friend Adam David Long, who helped us develop this ebook. It is a long premium ebook with workbooks. At the end, we're going to talk about everything that's included in it and why you should go get this thing. Adam, before we do, tell us about you. I brought you on to talk about this because you're a specific kind of nerd with, with lots of vague nerdery in the background. But there's a specific reason. You've been writing about these issues around artificial intelligence. Tell us what's got your cackles up. What's got you involved in this area that you're paying so much attention to this trend of artificial intelligence in law?
Well, I describe my mission, Mike, as trying to help the legal system and emerging technology help each other. And so I am super interested in artificial intelligence generally as something that's going to transform business and transform society. And I'm also interested in how it is going to transform the way the legal system works and vice versa. I'm very eager to see how the legal system, and of course that means lawyers, including in-house counsel, as we'll get to, can really embrace this technology and help it work better for everyone.
Great. You actually bring up something that I think is significant. When we wrote this ebook, and calling it an ebook is a bit of an undersell, this is a very large guide to implementing artificial intelligence in your environment and also advising other members of the company that you work at to be able to do it. But I would say we had a target here with Corporate Counsel, and as you know, corporate counsel versus in-house is sort of a weird designation because a lot of companies are too small to have their own full-time in-house. And even companies who are that big, they have very small in-house teams. So you're talking about a lot of, I don't want to call them general practitioners, but close, right? People who are dealing with a great number of issues. And that can create a lot of anxiety about something like artificial intelligence. I want to talk to you about the two sort of sides of that anxiety. One, about, hey, you, legal department, you are a business department and you need to be operating more efficiently. And the other is,
that's right.
What the heck is this stuff? How are we supposed to use this without getting in trouble? So talk to me first about the pressure to be more efficient. Are you seeing artificial intelligence being used in legal departments in these corporate counsel roles?
I think we're all watching to see exactly how it's going to play out. I mean, this is my cue to remind you, Mike, that ChatGPT only came out just a few months ago. I mean, it was in early December of last year, right? So I think a lot of people are scrambling in every department, not just legal departments, to figure out how can we make best use of this type of technology to help us work better. Look, I think this is a trend. I try to spend a lot of time reading, going to presentations for in-house counsel, sometimes doing presentations for in-house counsel. And the constant message that I hear from them is we're like every other department. We're expected to figure this out. We're expected to move forward and make the best use we can of whatever tools we can to do that. On the flip side, you and I have talked about this before. I really like the phrase. I think it captures the idea of how a lot of in-house counsel view themselves as the conscience of the company. I don't know if I got my fingers in the frame there to do my air quotes.
Scare quotes,
but that's scare quotes. That's right. Yes, that is kind of scary, right? But it is our job as in-house counsel not just to make sure we comply with Regulation 437J, but to make sure we're operating in an ethical way and to think through all of the ramifications of that. So this puts, to me anyway, in-house counsel in an interesting and unique position. I think those two play off each other. I think, and we discussed this in our field manual, if we want to use that term, expanding on the idea of an ebook, that it's important for an in-house counsel to have used the technology, that when an in-house counsel is going to a sales team or a customer service team that's trying to figure out, hey, can we use a chatbot to help deal with some of our issues, that the in-house counsel is not saying, chatbot? I never heard of a chatbot. What's a chatbot? But instead has actually tried, whether they're a solo in-house counsel or working in a larger team, to really get to know these tools.
Yeah, and actually talking about it as a field guide, that's a good pivot because I want to talk about the structure of this thing. So we understand that there's really two big sources of anxiety. One is, how do I use these tools so that I can get better at my job as a department so I don't get in trouble? But also, to your point, we have to advise other people. And so the way we conceived of this product as a field guide, we've done a bunch of free ebooks that are sort of informational, infotainment. It's trying to give a big picture. Right? That is not what this is. This is very explicitly.
No, sir. It's not just what this is.
Right. We wanted a field guide. So I'm going to talk about what the sort of 4 sections are of this, and then we'll dig into it. One is giving a background on what is going on in this space. What is artificial intelligence? What's going on with legal in this space specifically? 2, how do you dig in and use it? This is the field guide piece. It is to get your hands dirty with these artificial intelligence tools. 3, with that knowledge in hand, how to then advise other departments. And then 4, we have actual workbooks. We have spaces for you to go and implement, learn from that implementation. So let's step back. You're given the big picture about what is all this AI noise. You've been writing about this for a while. How aware do you think lawyers are of this area? Do you see sort of a disconnect there between what we should know and what we do know, and how does this field guide really solve for that?
I think we're all trying to figure this out. That's the theme I'm gonna keep coming back to. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think it's very hard to work for any business in the United States right now and not be aware that there is this thing called ChatGPT, and not be aware that there is this thing called machine learning and algorithms, and that those are changing business. Now, my understanding, people are doing surveys on this from time to time. My understanding is that lots of folks are still at the point where they've maybe put a toe in the water. Maybe they've helped a friend or a child in their household to work on a homework problem, whereas they may not have jumped into this in the workplace. And so I think that's kind of what, when you and I talked about this, I think that's why it made sense for us to do this field manual right now. When people are interested, I want to do it, but I'm a lawyer. I don't want to screw anything up, right? God forbid we make a mistake and learn something, right? But I think many lawyers recognize there is tremendous potential.
Yeah, and actually you make the point about making mistakes and being comfortable making mistakes. One of the interesting things I think about this issue, this space, is that the legal department, the lawyers, get to go try this stuff and make the mistakes and learn from it.
Yes, that's right.
And I feel like that's kind of required. Normally, if you're dealing with I was talking to somebody earlier about an alcohol distribution license, you as the lawyer don't get to go out and distribute alcohol to learn, the context. With this, you get to do it. You get to go dig in. So we have a section that is specifically dedicated to that. We have this weird thing in legal that we have this kind of distinction between legal operations and legal advising. I mean, it's all sort of operations,
Sure.
But we brought in legal operations experts, Sarah Ajmi and John Grant, to learn about the digging in. Talk to us about the tactical, the practical, the digging in, the making mistakes, the learning from it in that section.
Sure. I think any time that you talk about introducing a new technology, whether that's email or word processing, or back when Cravath introduced the telegraph or the telephone, one of the things you want to be aware of is it's an opportunity to step back and look at your whole process. And that the way to make this implementation successful is not to just grab this tool off the shelf and bolt it on to your existing process, but it's a chance to look at how you operate, to look at the reality of how your organization reviews contracts, which I suspect is a little different from what it says in your manual about how you review contracts. So one of the things we really tried to do, again, with the great help from Sarah and from John, is step somebody through a process, step an in-house counsel through the process of identifying, hey, where can we improve? Where do we have I'm going to say a breakdown between the expectations of one of the operational departments and the legal department? And which of those is going to be a good place to think about using an AI tool? Our hope there is that you're going to go step by step in a systematic way that we're going to help you walk through, and you're going to build success on success as you add tools project by project and function by function.
Well, and to that, we have that unique advantage of being able to go and try this stuff and be able to speak intelligently and add value to the company as in-house attorneys by understanding these technologies. But also, we have a job to do, which is to advise the company. And so we have a long section in this field guide about the issues, right? The legal context, the actual legal issues. Talk to me about sort of not getting caught up in the hype cycle, but also doing your responsibility, as you mentioned, as the conscience of the company. How do we address that in this field guide?
What we try to do is step you through some of the main issues, recognizing that list of issues is probably 1,000 issues long. So we couldn't at least this time write a 1,000-page ebook. We had to prioritize. But looking at things like privacy, looking at things like confidentiality, looking at things like bias, which is, it's important to constantly remind ourselves that AI tools are not omniscient. They're working with the data they have. If that data instantiates bias, then all the AI tool is going to do is can I say reinstantiate? Is going to reinforce that bias. So really trying to flag a set of high-level issues that the in-house counsel are among the best folks to look at. Anytime you're thinking about confidentiality and proprietary information for your company, you're going to face trade-offs, right? The way to keep your proprietary information secret is to bury it in a vault 100 miles below the surface of the earth and never tell anybody. But of course, that's not going to work because you can't get anything done. On the other hand, you can go too far in the other direction. So we really think of the in-house counsel as the balance engineer, if I can coin a phrase. This is somebody who's trying to figure out, how do we harness it? How do we stay aware of these very important issues? They don't just affect, of course, the in-house department, but they're front and center at the in-house department.
Yeah, so we address these issues. As a reminder, we talk about the background, what's going on with this technology. We help you dig in and use it, including a workbook section that will get you into operations. And then we give you these guides to help advise in your role as the in-house counsel. So Adam, as we close up, give me the pitch. Give me the 1-minute pitch that says, sure, you need to get this because. Tell me what people have to look forward to and why they should get on board and use this AI field guide in their practice.
Artificial intelligence is going to transform business. It's going to transform the way our society works. It's going to transform the way the legal system works. But it's got to be done responsibly. In-house counsel at organizations across the country are in a unique position to make sure that this happens responsibly. But the way to do that is not just to talk in the abstract, but to get into the nitty-gritty, to get into the specifics of your business and your operations. And that's what we have tried to do, is to give you the tools as in-house counsel to do that and move forward with implementation in a responsible way.
We will have this AI field guide, a manual for corporate counsel, available at lawinsider.com/resources. So make sure you find it there. Adam, thank you for joining us and explaining this exciting product and for helping us to put it together.
It's great to be working with you on this. This is super exciting times for all of us, and glad to be with you.